For centuries, the Knights Templar have been shrouded in legend and mystery. Tales of hidden treasure, secret rituals, and the Holy Grail have eclipsed the real story. But who were the Templars, really? To uncover the truth, we must look beyond the myths and dive into history. This is the real history of the Knights Templar, a story of power, faith, betrayal, and mystery that still echoes through time. In 1096, waves of Christian warriors surged eastward in response to the Pope's call to reclaim the Holy Land. When the city finally fell in 1099, blood filled its streets, and pilgrims soon followed, seeking the sacred ground of Christendom. But the roads to the Holy City were dangerous, filled with bandits, warlords, and the remnants of shattered armies. A group of warrior monks soon rose to answer that call for protection, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. With humble beginnings, they pledged their lives to a higher cause, to guard the faithful along the perilous path to Jerusalem. In the years that followed, pilgrims flooded the roads of the Holy Land, placing their faith in the Templars to guide them through danger. Robbers and mercenaries stalked these roads, but the Templars met them not with fear, but with steel. Time and again, they risked their lives to ensure others could worship freely. The Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem became their base and gave the order its name. From humble origins, they became more than warriors. They became symbols of sacred duty and fearless devotion. To join the order was to abandon all earthly ambition. Each knight swore obedience, chastity, humility, and above all, loyalty to God. They ate in silence, prayed in unison, and slept fully armored, always ready for war. Every action, every breath, was governed by rules that demanded sacrifice. Bound by faith, hardened by discipline, they were more than warriors. They were vessels of divine duty. Though sworn to poverty, the Knights Templar became one of the most feared military forces of the Crusades. They were the sword and shield of the Crusader states, defenders of outposts and guardians of ancient roads. At key strongholds like Crac des Chevaliers, they held the front lines, outnumbered but never outmatched. Their discipline and faith gave them an edge, even in the face of impossible odds. To their enemies, they were fanatics. To the faithful, they were angels in armor. Beyond the battlefield, the Templars built a financial empire that stretched across continents. They operated banks, issued letters of credit, and managed wealth for kings, nobles, even the church itself. From London to Jerusalem, their commanderies were connected by a network centuries ahead of its time. Templar couriers traveled under protection, delivering funds, messages, and intelligence between East and West. To the world, they were warriors. But they were also architects of something far more enduring: trust. With wealth came influence, and the Templars were soon seated beside kings and crowned heads of Christendom. Papal decrees placed them above local law, answerable only to the Pope himself. In embassies, palaces, and cathedrals, they became trusted envoys, mediators in matters of war and peace. Rulers entrusted them with secrets, cities, and sacred missions that crossed borders and faiths alike. The Red Cross came to represent more than war. It stood for authority, access, and immunity. In the early 14th century, the order's influence cast a long shadow, and for some, it cast too far. King Philip IV was deep in debt, and the Templars, wealthy and independent, had become both a threat and a target. Secretly, Philip prepared a list of charges: heresy, idolatry, sorcery, a web of lies woven to justify betrayal. On Friday the 13th, 1307, his plan was unleashed. In every town across France, the Templars were hunted. What began as an arrest became a purge, swift, brutal, and unforgiving. The Knights were accused of unspeakable crimes, not by evidence, but by ambition. Under torture, many confessed to lies they did not believe, to end pain, or to end it all. These confessions, extracted under duress, were used to dismantle the most powerful military order in Christendom. In 1312, Pope Clement V officially dissolved the order, not for guilt, but for fear of political collapse. And in fire, their story ended, but not their legend. When the fires went out, nothing remained. No trial, no defense, no closure. Vaults once filled with treasure were emptied, sealed, or swallowed by time. Some say relics were hidden, smuggled across borders, buried in holy ground, lost beneath centuries of silence. Others believed the order had simply vanished, into disguise, into exile, or into myth. But in the silence they left behind, a legend was born. As centuries passed, the silence of the Templars gave birth to something louder: legend. Many believed the Templars had found and hidden the Holy Grail itself. Tales spread of a hidden treasure, gold, relics, and secrets buried far from the eyes of kings and popes. Some say they sailed with it, westward, beyond the reach of Europe's thrones. And whether it lies beneath sand, sea, or stone, the treasure remains lost, but never forgotten. From the ashes of the Templars, whispers began to grow. Whispers of secrets never destroyed, only hidden. Across centuries, their name became entangled with secret orders: Freemasons, Rosicrucians, the Illuminati. Some claim the Templars never died, only went deeper underground, guiding history from behind locked doors, from Washington to Paris, from stone cathedrals to dollar bills. Symbols, thought long buried, continue to appear. Coincidence or legacy? Long after their suppression, the name Templar still carries weight. And for some, it still carries purpose. Modern-day orders, some charitable, some esoteric, claim spiritual descent from the knights of old. Some guard sacred sites, Others stage rituals drawn from fragments of forgotten rites. Worldwide, dozens of orders, legitimate and otherwise, claim the Red Cross as their inheritance. The Brotherhood is gone, but the idea remains. In recent years, the veil of mystery has begun to lift, not through legend, but through excavation. Templar commanderies, once thought lost, are being uncovered, their architecture still whispering the rules of their order. In crypts and catacombs, researchers have found not treasure, but truth. Newly translated documents reveal a brotherhood more complex than myth suggests, pragmatic, spiritual, and human. History speaks, not with thunder, but with dust, ink, and stone. The Knights Templar have been cast as saints, sinners, sorcerers, and saviors. But what survives in stories does not always survive in evidence. Popular fiction blurred the line between medieval truth and modern myth. Still, fragments remain, enough to piece together a truer, humbler, more human picture. To understand the Templars is to look not for secrets, but for context. They vanished in fire and silence, yet somehow they never left us. Every ruined wall, every faded seal, every unanswered question keeps their memory alive. Maybe they found something sacred. Maybe they were simply men. But their story never truly ended. And maybe that's the truth. They were never meant to be understood, only remembered. Time erased their presence, but not their story. From battlefields to bookshelves, their name still moves hearts and minds. They were warriors. They were bankers. They were monks. And they were men. In the end, the question isn't what they left behind. It's what we still carry with us.